Hello?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for a wonderful day of Photoshop party. Yeah, whatever. It's going to be a fun day. We're going to talk about brushes, some of the different tools and brushes. I might even show the pen tool. Then again, I might not. I don't know. We'll see. And for those watching on YouTube, the pen tool's an inside joke. We just always joke about the pen tool. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like. Get me all those wonderful likes and subscribes so I can make lots of money, because I'm up to 93 subscribers now. I only need 1,000 to start making money.
Around the corner.
So obviously I'm doing this all just for money. So here we go. Let's go to Adobe Photoshop. And first thing up is West Coast School, June 4th through the 9th of 2023. You can see the list of instructors on there. You can call the 800 number that's in that bright area there if you want to do monthly payments. Ask for extension 3.
Operators are standing by.
If you accidentally hit extension 1, I'm sure he'll be happy to help you as well.
It'll be the same person.
Anyway, for those that haven't been to West Coast School, it's like summer camp for photographers. For those that have been to West Coast School, you know what it's like and you've already signed up. So going to be some fun times there. So let's close that puppy out. And I've been asked by a couple people to show this every week, so I'm going to show it every week. I got a contribution from John last week, so thank you very much. Not mandatory, but I will take your money. And I'll report it to the IRS and to the state of California to make sure that they're happy. Maybe even to the state of Idaho. Maybe all 50 states. I don't care. Anyway, if you want to just screenshot that, or if you just want to take a quick picture of that link, it'll get you in there. So without further ado, here's where we're starting. We're starting with the brush. So let me hit B for brush, so we're in there. And I'm just going to start with a soft round brush. And you see what it does. And we've already discussed this in lengths, I think, about softness and hardness of your brush. That's the hard edge brush. The one on the left is a soft edge brush at 0 hardness, which means it's soft. And you can see that it gives a great, hey, my space bar is working today. Yay. You can see that a gradation off of there just makes it soft edged, as you can see, and the hard edge brush is obviously hard. If you're doing retouching using the stamp tool, the clone stamp tool, and you use a hard edge brush like the one on the right, it's going to show your tracks big time. Everything you cloned is going to show up. So always, always, always go to a soft edge brush when you're doing your clone tracks. So close that out, and we will go to brush settings. And right now, because it wasn't in the brush mode, it was in something else. That's why it wouldn't. Okay, the zoom tool keeps popping up, so let's hit B for brush. And I don't know if anybody else is experiencing troubles like I am. When you hit the keyboard shortcuts, it will flash back to where you came from for some reason. I don't know why.
It might be in a purse or something, Ross.
I've been having that for a couple of weeks. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
So you have
Hopefully,
to, there's no shortcuts. Like,
yeah, you just got to be patient, hit it like 3 or 4 times to get it to come up. And I've had to do that. So right now we're at a soft round brush. You can see right now the spacing is at 25% down at the bottom down here. I have brush tip shape selected and spacing is at 25%. So basically what that means is every 25% of this brush, as you're going across the line, let me make it smaller so we can, there we go. Now you can see it. As you go across at 25%, 1/4 of the brush is being replaced with the next one. So as you go, if you're down to 1%, you can see it's nice and smooth on the transition. So I'll zoom in and you see the difference in the transition there. So your spacing makes a big difference. Back to brush again. If you do 50%, so let's bring it up to 50. I could type it in and be quicker. This is 50. And you can see that half of the stamp or the brush repeats every 50% of the time. And when you go up to 100% of the brush, type in 100, you can see that they're touching each other. And then if you want to get really creative, that's at 1000%. There we go. You can see that it basically a whole bunch of brushes in between there. So depending on what you're doing, you can make things happen and just get totally weird. Shape dynamics. Let me fill that with white to clear it out. The shape dynamics right here, well, the shape, we're on a soft round brush. We don't need to flip the angle because there's no angle to it. It's all round, but I can squeeze it down to where my brush is like that. Or if I go to 90, my brush should be like that. So if you wanted to do a big line like that, you can do that. Or if you want to do a skinny line with the same brush, you can do that as well. So you can also play with the flip X and flip Y down here under the size and do the same thing. So okay, it's not going to do anything. I don't care. So I'll go back to soft again. And you can see as you paint with soft like that, it gets some really soft, weird edges on the length of it. But when you do like this, it's less soft on the sides. So just to let you know that. And if you want to change the angle, you can change it to an angle of, that's 55 degrees. So that's the spacing, hardness, and the angles, etc. And if you want to reset it, you just click on the brush at the very top, which is your soft round brush. That's my first one in all my menus. So let's go ahead and change colors to black just for fun. Brush tip shape, we're round. Let's tweak it and get it weird just for fun. Shape dynamics. Size jitter is not going to do anything right now. I guess it is because it's not a round brush, but as you paint, you can see that it makes some definite jitter going on. Jitter just means going in and out, spacing differently. And I'm doing all this with my mouse. If I use the Wacom tablet, it's going to change the controls a little bit. So what I can do is hit pin pressure, go to my Wacom tablet, make sure it's working. And not a whole lot changing there. Let me go back to tip shape. And I'm going to change it to hard. And you can also right click when you do this to change it to hard. So if you do a right click, it brings up the hardness right here and the size right there. I'll talk about size in a minute, but basically the harder I push, you can see right here, it's pushing hard. I'll push light. It's got a little bit less, like right there. So the pressure from the pin makes a difference from that. Turn off scattering, not ready for that. So size jitter, let's say 50, almost 50%. So and you can see it's going in a straight line, but it's jittering, so it's causing the different texture going on there. You can set your minimum diameter. That's at 38%. So it only goes to 38%. If you take it down to 0, it gets you just a little bit more there. Angle jitter. What that does, it changes the angle as you go across. You can see it like crisscrossing there. That's at 61%, and this is 100% on the angle jitter. So it does a little bit more depending on how much you do. It's a 16% less jitter, but it has some there. And then roundness jitter, I don't think is going to do anything because it's not a round brush anymore. I guess it is. Okay. You can see it made it round, not round, round, not round as we go along. And you can set the minimum roundness is there. Sometimes
Michael, what applications would you use something like that in?
If you're trying to do
Thank
something,
you.
go ahead. If you're trying to do something a little bit different, like if I was trying to, let's say, do a, whoops, didn't want that one. If you're trying to do like a frame or something, you can make a unique frame out of it. You can also do some erasing with it if you wanted to. And just kind of tweak it a little bit, do different things with it. Just being artistic, I guess. I don't know.
All right. Well, thank you.
I'm just saying, I've never done it before, but I know that there's probably an application for it. It just depends. And then when we turn scattering on, let me turn all these off. Turn scattering on. Right now, scatter is set to 30%. I'm in white, never mind. There we go. So there's not really much going on. If I turn scatter on to 395, you can see it scatters all over the place. 181, and this is 81. So the bigger the scatter, the more it spreads out. So that's the max at 9. There we go, 1000. So we'll do 1000, and that's the max. And then at 0 scatter, it just makes a straight line. You can change the count. So you have a little bit more in the scatter that you do. You can make it almost all black by turning the count up. If you turn your count down, this is 2, and this is at 1. So you can see the more you get in there, the higher the count, the more you get in there. So you can use it for different things. Texture, let's go ahead and change. Turn that off, turn that off. Let's go back to the round brush. And soft round brush, and should be 100% opacity. Let's add some texture in there, which I didn't know you could do. I just saw that this week that you could do that. And so we'll take this one, and this is called, come on, tell me what it is. It's not going to tell me. There it is. Watercolor Artist Pattern 1. So that's a texture that you can add to your brush. And I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger. And you can see the outside of the brush right here. Added a whole lot of texture to the softness. So let's go ahead and go back to 0, Command 0, and I'll change it to a hard brush. And with the texture turned on still, you got nothing. So with the soft brush, it added a whole lot. You can see that it added a whole lot of texture on the side there. And then on the hard edge brush, it did not. Command 0 to bring it back to full screen. And we will hit clear.
Michael, what would happen if you painted with your brush at like 50% opacity or less? Would you see that texture within
With
that
the texture,
circle you're doing? Yeah, with the
Okay.
texture.
let's go ahead and go to the soft edge brush. And you wanted 50%. We'll start at 50. So I just hit the 5 key and it changes to 50 right there. Let me put my pad away. You see it paints in gray, but you still have your texture there. And let's go to B for brush again. If I can get it to work. Let's go to 25%. And you still have your texture on the outside.
Okay, but it's just hitting the outside. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And then go back here. I changed textures on there. And this one has a little bit more texture to it. So it's like adding a paper to it. You can see my zoom tool and my brush are fighting right now. Every time I hit B for brush, it'll bring up the zoom tool again. So I apologize for that. There's also invert on the texture as well. So I'm going to do a little bit different there. Let's fill it with white and we'll hit texture and uninvert it. And we'll do the texture again. The bottom one is inverted. The top one is not inverted. So you can see there is a bit of a difference there. I didn't even notice that invert key ever existed there. So you just play with stuff and enjoy. You can also scale your texture down, or you can scale it up 1000%. So you're getting, that's at 1000% on the texture. Contrast will put up 100. And you see the difference that it does there. Just playing with these. And then once you get one that's kind of cool, you could, okay, let's take this guy right here. So we'll lasso him. And I want to go to levels with it. So I got to move my zoom stuff out of the way now. Layers. And we'll do it the easy way. We'll just go to image adjustments, threshold. And what I did was made it black and white. It's now black and white, black being the color that I want. So I'm going to go to edit, define brush preset. I'm going to call it blob. And that's now my brush. So if I hit deselect and then bring everything to white again, I now have a blob brush and it's at 25%. So I hit 0 to bring it up to 100. Now, when we play with the brush tip shape, we can do all kinds of weird stuff to it. And again, with the spacing, same thing, shape dynamics. You can change your size jitter. So it does different sizes. Angle jitter, it goes different directions. Roundness jitter, you can see the second one was skinny. The middle one was a little bit wider. And just play with it to figure out what you want. And you can make all kinds of different stuff on here. and you find something you like, make a new brush out of it. Gathering texture. I'm going to skip dual brush, color dynamics. That one's interesting. So let's go to our soft round brush again. Soft round brush, clear that out. We're going to go to color dynamics. So we need to change the color on here. Let's go ahead and go with a dark green as the primary color. And background color is going to be a little bit lighter green, just for fun. And shape dynamics, I'm going to turn that off and just go with color dynamics for now. And you have foreground to background jitter. So we'll say, we'll put it at 0 for now. And that's your foreground to background jitter. Go to 25%. And you got a little bit there. Let's make it bigger so we can see it. So let's go 0 to start with, 0. Soft edge brush. Let's change that to hard edged, just for fun. Hard edge brush. I want to no spacing to start with. There we go. Perfect. And did you know that if you hold the shift key down, click once, hold the shift key down, click again, it makes a perfectly straight line. I don't know if you knew that one. It's a shortcut for a lot of things. So that's the color dynamics with 0 background, foreground jitter. We'll go to 25%. Do the same thing. And you can see based on the spacing in here that we made a unique kind of color. Kind of cool. I kind of like that. Something different. That's okay. B for brush. And let's take it up to 50%. There we go. Same thing. And let's do 100% just so we can be consistent. Dot, dot. So you got a set of poker chips there. Just kind of something to play with and have fun and enjoy. Hue jitter, if you want to really get crazy, bend your hue jitter up to 5%. Let's make it a white background. Edit, fill, white. Thank you. And we change the hue jitter, so we'll click on there, foreground color. You can see it changes a little bit. Let's bump it up to 50%. And you can see all the different colors in there. Well, if you want to see it even better, let's go ahead and space it to go to 76%. Turning on the hue jitter, all of a sudden you're starting to get colors that aren't the background color or the foreground color. So you can see you're adding all these colors in. You're within 50% of the color palette between the two. So if I went to 100%, you're going to see all kinds of weird colors. Not even related to the greens. So, and if you do the same thing with saturation, a little bit more saturated, brightness, 100%. So you can get some really cool different techniques going on based on the color dynamics. Let me bring it back down again to normal range. And you can also change the purity of the colors as well. These are pretty much primary colors or almost primary colors. So let's go ahead and Bring the purity up to 100%. Hue jitter. So it's not even close anymore. Brightness jitter, really bizarre. So, and let's go back to brush tip shape, get a soft edge brush that's clean again, and we'll get rid of those. With the color dynamics, what you can do is turn the jitter down, hue jitter. We're going to keep it so it's clean. Saturation down to 0, brightness back to normal, purity, I'm going to put it 0. I'm going to take my brush tip shape and put the spacing at about 50% and give us a hard edge brush. And you can see it got a little bit of the background color, not a whole lot. So let's add a little bit more. Foreground to background, let's 30%. I'm going to change the color so the bright one's on top. And you can almost make a little worm out of this. So let's go ahead and put a new layer up there. And then we'll add a bevel and emboss just to make them stand out a little bit. A stroke of 1 pixel. And we'll do like a darker green instead of black. And maybe toss the inner glow, inner shadow. So you can start doing all kinds of tricky stuff to this. Add a drop shadow to him so he's starting to get a little different. Move him down a little bit. Size up. Move him down just a little bit more. Should be moving with my mouse, but he's not moving for some reason. And drop the opacity down so he looks like he's standing out there. Just playing around, having fun with it, doing what weird people do on the computer all day long. So we'll get rid of that. A couple other things I'm not going to go into in the brush settings. Let's go ahead and change brushes real quick. And we're going to go from the brush to the mixer brush, which is really cool. There's something I learned in the last week while studying. Let's pick out a nice purple. And we'll just kind of bring the load up. We'll get a little bit darker there. And then what color's good with purple? Somebody pick a color. Okay, yellow it is. Thank you. So we've now got yellow, we've now got purple, and I want to add a little bit of red in there as well. Let's add some red right there. Now, what I can do is on my color picker up at the very top, if I pick load solid colors only, and I pick my option picker, it's going to pick yellow, or it's going to pick purple, or it's going to pick red. The cool thing about the mixer brush is if I unclick that, so where it says load solid colors only at the top left up there, we're going to change it. So I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger, and I'm going to hold the Option or Alt key, and I'm going to select that middle area there. If things work out, let's go to D to deselect. It's not supposed to do that up there. Cancel. Of course, when you try to do this.
Do it and share it.
And share it, yeah. I did it twice before today and it worked just fine. Okay, I'm going to hold the Option or Alt key, select my color range, and I want to clear the back. There we go. I can paint with multiple colors using the mixer brush. It's like, I didn't know Photoshop could paint with multiple colors. So if I want to create a nice pastel background, I now have a nice pastel background that I painted all by itself. That is, to me, worth the price of admission of my week's study, seeing that I could do that. That's really cool.
Can you show that one more time, please?
Maybe.
Pretty please.
Yeah, pretty please.
Sugar on top.
What brush are you using?
I could put some cotton candy on top. We can do that.
Boy, he got some attention on that one.
Okay,
What brush are you using, Michael?
Mixer.
the mixer brush.
No, I mean, what the name of the brush, not. the
Oh,
mixer.
I'll tell you in 1 second. Let me get the painting out here first. In fact, let me go to brush. B for brush. Would use a soft edge brush, and nope, that's not a soft edge brush. Let's try that. And let's do, say, 70% on the paint. There we go. Pick a new color. Light purple. And new color. Let's go into a blue. And one more color. Yellow works really good. So right now I'm just painting with a brush, any soft edge brush. So nothing spectacular on that. I'm going to go to the mixer brush, which my keyboard shortcut is A, although for you it's probably in the brush tools. So what you do is just hold the brush tool down. It should be down towards the bottom. Just hit there. I changed mine to A between that and the smudge tool. So this is the mixer brush. And to show you what brush it is called it's the Pete's mixer brush is which one it is. This is the one Sandra Pierce gave everybody at the class. I would, if I could, share it, but Sandra said no, not to share it. It stays for people in her class only. So the Pete mixer brush is the one I'm using. And it creates like a cloud. But what you can do is get a picture of a cloud and then change all your settings, shape dynamics, put the angle jitter, change your scattering. So you got 142%. Transfer, there's nothing on there, smoothing, and just do the same thing over again. So I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to Option click in the middle here. Option or Alt click, what that does is selects the color. And in this case, it selected all the colors that are in there. So let's hit to clear it. And now if I want to paint with this brush, it should be painting. Why is it not painting? Because my mix was set way too high. Load and wet are 100%. So let's go ahead and there we go.
Can we get an ooh and an ah?
Ooh, ah.
Ooh, ah.
And so that is like wicked cool. In fact, I can see that every time I paint, the brush doesn't change angle. So I'll go in here and I'll change my angle jitter so that it'll be under scattering or shape dynamics is 8%. Well, let's make it change a whole bunch, 50%. Clear that out again. And now when I paint, it should be, it changes the angle every time I hit it, it changes the angle. And it says 50%. So every other time it goes back to where it was. Okay, it's not every other time. Fine. Make a liar out of me. You can also change the size jitter. So we'll clear that and we'll do the same thing again. Where as you're doing it, the size changes while you're doing this. So if you had a picture of a rose that you wanted to enter into image comp and you wanted a nice rosy colored background, there you go. And we'll just add a little bit of white in there. No, don't do that. Fine, we'll do it that way. Add some white in there. And then with the mixer brush, you can take what you have there and just kind of mix them together. For a good tutorial on mixer brush, take Sandra Pierce's class. She is like the goddess of this. She knows what she's doing with it. Me, I'm not an artist, so I'm not very good at it. But now you can drop your rose in there and have a nice rosy picture. But I had to remember to show that because that was the one thing that just blew me away this week. If you're looking for brushes and you use brushes all the time, I have my favorites up here. The first one is called BG Scumbler, and what it does, it just kind of adds textures in there in my mixer brush. And you've got the greasy blender, just kind of smears things up a little bit. That's why it's called greasy. Mixer brush 1 is just a soft edge mixer brush. What that does is just kind of mixes the colors together, smooches them together. Soft edge round brush. You got hairbrush. You can barely see, but and what that does, it causes things to just stretch out the color there and helps with fixing hair, things like that. Soft round Pete mixer brush, we already showed you, mix the cloud. Those are all of my favorites. And it's like, well, how'd you get them in your favorites? Well, I just took a mixer brush that I like and put it in there. Other brushes that you have, and it's like, you can see I've got a few brushes in there and I've had to, when I load them onto my computer and then all of a sudden I do a class and show all the different brushes, how to add brushes. Well, I just added them on again. So I need to take them out every once in a while and clean my brushes up. You can go in here and search for a brush. If you're looking for a grass brush, so you type in grass in the search up here, you have dune grass, regular grass, and I got a grass brush from somebody else recently, and I don't know what I did with it. But we'll make the color green. And that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do a regular brush. B for brush. Go back to grass again.
You need to raise your opacity, probably, don't you?
No, it was in the mixer brush.
Oh, okay.
And I pulled my head out now and I'm ready to do this. Grass, green. And you can put grass in there. And there's different styles of grass that you can do. This is pretty cool. It's kind of a weedy kind of grass. And let's go back up to grass one more time. And probably this is my favorite. It's just called grass. And it's got a whole lot of hue jitter in there. And you can add the grass if you want it taller. You can make it taller, shorter. Whoops, that's going the wrong way. There we go. You can make short grass in there. One of the things that drives me crazy watching people do programs on brushes. Let's go to a soft round brush again. They want a brush to cover, say, all of this area here. So they go up to their brush mode, go to size, drag it up to 86, go out. Nope, not enough. Go up here. Let's go up to 99. Nope, not quite enough. Let's go up to 316. Oh, that's too big. That drives me crazy. Use the right and left bracket keys and figure out where you want it to go and just fill it in. So if you want to do it that way, that's fine. It's kind of like working without a light meter, doing 15 test images to see where you're at. So let's go back to clean slate and we will go to, let's try watercolor. And for those that haven't downloaded any water or any extra brushes, you can download all kinds of cool stuff from Kyle's brushes, which are Adobe brushes that you can use. They're really easy to get into. Here's a watercolor brush. Let's go ahead and go to that and go here. And we do a soft pastel-y ugly color like that. And you have your watercolor that you can play with and paint in. There's all kinds of cool brushes. You just have to go and play. And to find brushes, you just go to your brush setting, your brush tool up there, or up here where you have brushes, click on brushes, or go to window, brushes. It brings up your brushes. There's a drop down menu right here. No, stay. And what you do is get more brushes. So you hit the drop down, go to get more brushes, and it will take you to Adobe. And you go, oh no, I'm not signed in. Sign in to download. Continue.
Michael, did you download that weedy brush? Or was that already a default brush?
The weedy looking brush was given to me by somebody else. I could get permission to give it to you if you like.
I really like that one. It looks so natural.
It does. It looks really cool. And here you have like a bazillion brushes. These are the Kyle brushes, and you name it, he's got it. Watercolor, the Mega Pack, the Gouache, the Spatter. Spatter is really cool. I've already got those in there. So let's go to Spatter, S-P-A-T-T-E-R. And we'll go to Kyle Spatter brushes, Supreme Spatter and Texture. We have to do Supreme, right? And just holding down my mouse, I'm not even using my Wacom tablet, just holding down the mouse and it starts spraying all over the place. So if you wanted to add a whole bunch of spatter to your image, ding, there you go, it's spattered. And let's change that to white. Back. Boom. You can see anything you do, you just play with it and see if you like it. And if you're artistic, you can pull it off. If you're not artistic like me, you need examples on what you're doing because I don't have a clue. So, so I showed you how to get new brushes. If you're missing your legacy brushes, you can go to the drop down up here and click on legacy brushes. And it says, do you want to restore legacy brushes to your list of presets? Yes, I do. But I've already got it in there 4 times, so I'm not going to do it again. When you have a brush that you like, oh, this is a cool spatter brush. Let's go ahead and go to my presets. It's not in there. So I'll go to my wheel setting, new tool preset, and it's called Brush Tool Spatter KTW for Kyle's brushes, 3.1, click OK, and it's now in there. I've got one in there that's called the Star Brush, or I'm sorry, it's called Stars for Sky. So let's go ahead and fill this with black. I have a black sky tonight. Hit X, go to Stars for Sky. Now I've got my stars out at night. Nobody will ever know the difference, right, Dennis?
I do now.
There are people that would actually do this. And what you can do, like the grass brush that we just had, take a picture of the weeds and make a brush out of it. Really easy to make brushes. Any questions? I know there's a bazillion now, but
Yeah, what
Well-
does the, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
go ahead,
Okay.
Alan.
What does the transfer do in the listed checkbox there?
You know, I am not really 100% sure what it does. Let me bring it back over here, lock it in again. You can change the opacity jitter and the flow jitter with the use of the pin pressure, or have it fade, one or the other, or the tilt of the pin. So let's say fade, and we'll go to new, fill it with white, change the color to black, go to a soft round brush, change transfer, and we'll do control to fade. Let's see what it does. You can see the example down in the bottom of the brush settings tool.
Green.
So
No,
what
we
I'm
can
going
just
to,
see you.
You gotta share it.
oh, quit your whining.
Just saying.
Okay, I have a soft round brush. I turned on the transfer with fade, and you can see that it does a fade down here. So when I paint with it, if everything goes right, you can see it fades out.
Mhm.
So let's take the spacing down. And as we go, it fades out. You can do a minimum of 25 or 37, so it goes longer. So you can set the fade how you want it to go, or you can use pin pressure, which, let me fill this with white real quick, get my tablet going again. And I've lost my, there it is, found my pen. So if pin pressure, I'm going to push hard to start with. I'm going to let up as I go, and nothing happens because it's 37. So let's, and it should start fading off, but it's not. Of course. Why are you not fading off? Minimum. Let's do 25%, see if that makes a difference. Nope, it's not changing at all with pin pressure. So I don't know the answer to that one. I'll be the first to admit that I don't know the answer. But I knew though, I do know that there is a pen tool in there. And what you can do is drag from one point to the next and then make your curves. So there, I've showed you the pen tool. Have a nice day. Next question.
I don't know if we want to go back to this topic or not, but I tried to do what you said with the picking up the 3 colors or 4 colors at once.
Uh-huh.
And I must have missed a step because I couldn't get it to pick them all up. It just picked up whatever I had the eyedropper tool was on.
Okay. So hang on, let me go back. Share screen. Now you can see again, right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do G for gradient, and I'll do one of my thousands of gradients that I have. Let's do pastels, pick a color. Come on, open up, open, open, open. There we go. And let's do this one. We'll do a gradient here. Click OK. Now we have a gradient. Let's do it again. So I'm going to take my mixer brush and I'm going to sample the color. But before I do, I want to make sure load solid colors only is turned off. So when let's go to a soft round brush. So I have something, make sure I do it right. And I hold the Option or Alt key, and it should select that area there. So I'm going to turn this off.
Unlock it.
Thank you. And add a new layer. And with my mixer brush selected, and I lost my colors all of a sudden. So let's go
I
back.
thought last time you said you had to select the colors with your brush. And
Okay,
then,
with my mixer brush is what I'm selecting with.
oh, I thought you said a regular brush, the B brush.
No,
Okay.
I'm selecting with the mixer brush. There we go. And you can see in the upper corner
Yeah.
up here, it shows up. You got to make sure that both of these brushes here are turned off. They're not highlighted. So when I go here, go a little bit smaller, and we'll just go mix, take it to 10%, 9% of work. So it's painting with those colors. While I paint.
Does it matter which mixer brush you use to select the
No.
color? Can you use a different mixer brush after you have the color selected?
Yeah, you could, well, after you, I don't know. Let's go to the peat mixer and it takes out the color. Oh, wait. Okay, I turned it back on. So, and it's going to black and white, which is my primary colors down here. So Let's select a color, make a big to-do out of it. Option, select, add a new layer. Turn that layer off.
Cool.
So let me try going to the soft round brush.
Nope, as soon as you click a brush, it goes off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it kind of makes sense, actually.
there might be a way around that. I don't know.
I don't think it matters that much.
And it could be in my settings too in the brushes. It could be the mixer brush is set to something over here that turns off the color. I'd have to look at it and find out, but I don't know.
Could you add a mask to it to kind of override it?
So if I put a mask on there and then I can't paint with the mixer brush. I guess I could. So yeah, you can mask it out. Let's take it down to 10. Yeah, it's just a matter of playing with this. I don't know the answers to this, to be honest with you.
Okay, I'll try that again. That was different than the way I tried, so. Maybe I'll
Okay.
be able to do it.
You can mask with the brush if you're painting with black. Any other questions? Anthony, good to see you today.
Thank you, barely made it. I was helping a buddy out in the middle of the sun, building a 25-foot long handicap ramp for his sister.
That's a lot of work. Any other questions going once, going twice? I'll stop the recording.